What's up, BooTube? I'm back, and I'm choking. But anyway, this is my reaction rant to Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1. Of course, Season 1, but I have to say it anyway. Season 1, Episode 5, titled Failsafe. I missed, like, maybe 5 to 8 minutes of it because I totally forgot, kind of. I was, like, on YouTube through my PlayStation. I looked at the time, like, holy shit, it's like 8 or something. And I'm like, oh no, Legends of Tomorrow. So, yeah, maybe like 5 to 8 minutes worth of missing. But anyway, let's get to it. That one chick, I believe her name was Valentina, that one, scientist lady, Valentina, she attempts to, like, trick Dr. Stein into revealing the Firestorm formula. But, you know, Dr. Stein being Dr. Stein, he refuses, and later taunts her that, like, you know what? Guess what, Valentina? The Soviet Union dissolves in 1991, so you fail! So, with that, with the teasing, it's pretty funny how, like, I don't think he should have done that, mainly because, you know, that's the future, you know what I mean? And usually when, you reveal something of the future, isn't that, in the past, isn't that, like, have repercussions? I'm just saying. I mean, there could be other people around that could possibly hear all that, and they hear that the Soviet Union just, like, messes up in 1991. They're gonna do everything in their power to dissolve that. You know what I mean? Just saying. And because of all this, she, you know, she wants this. She's determined to, like, prove him wrong, and she becomes obsessed with changing the course of the future because of it. And she decides to change the course of the future through Stein's matrix after learning the formula for stabilizing the matrix and everything, right? The Firestorm matrix. And while trying to, you know, get Stein, Mick, and what's his name? Ray out of prison, they decide in order to break into a prison, they need someone who, you know, not only knows the prison but pretty much controls it. So they make a deal with the Bratva or something like that, B-R-A-T-V-A, and if I remember correctly, the Bratva, or whatever you pronounce them, they're trying to get into the Gulag, which is where Rick, Ray, and Stein are being held prisoner. And if you remember the Bratva, that's actually an Easter egg because Oliver Queen and Arrow has been associated with them. He even has a tattoo on his chest. And he's actually done some dealings with them. You actually see it in the previous seasons. I don't remember which seasons, but he has dealt with the Bratva before. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm sorry. But anyway, Oliver Queen has dealt with them in the later future on Arrow. But anyway, and while they manage to get the Bratva to help with to get into the Gulag, before they leave, what's his name? Was it? No, that's not. I can't remember his name anymore. That's horrible. Okay, this is so bad. Snart. There you go. He has Snart and Sarah go with him, right? He pretty much tells Kendra and Jax to stay behind because he's like, Jax, you're only one half of Firestorm. You can't go out there on your own without being Firestorm. And also the fact that if Jax goes out there, they're basically giving the Soviets the other half of Firestorm. They already have half of Firestorm being Stein. They give Jax over there, they have the whole entire Firestorm. They're screwed, right? So he's like, you have to stay here. You're only half a superhero. You can't do anything without your other half. And if you go out there, they're going to have both halves of Firestorm, and we're just going to be screwed. And then also, he tells Kendra to Rip tells Kendra to stay behind because, you know, she's the only one that could kill Savage. I can't believe I'm forgetting their names already. This is so bad. But anyway, she tells them to stay behind. Rips tells them to stay behind and takes Sarah and Snart with him. But before that, he pulls Sarah aside and tells her, just in case we cannot save, while we're saving Ray, Mick, and Stein, if we can't save Stein, Sarah, you have to be the failsafe, plan B, this failsafe. You have to, in order to prevent a potential future where an army of Firestorms destroy the world. And this actually happened because Rip has shown Sarah what what Star City looks like if firestorms destroyed the world. And basically he tasked Sarah with if you can't save him, you have to kill him to save the world. And so that's a big burden for Sarah. I mean, I know she's the assassin and all that stuff, but to tell her to kill Stein is just so heartily heavy. And I'm not for this. I mean, we're talking about Rip Hunter, who tells Sarah that she's not a monster, right? In the previous episodes, and here he is telling her to assassinate a friend. I know that if she doesn't do this, apparently a big army of firestorms will destroy Star City, her home where her family is, but to tell her to kill an innocent man who has become her friend pretty much cancels out you telling her that she's not a monster. I'm just saying. Rip. Seriously. But anyway, the team arrives at the gulag just as Valentina enters a reactor with a secondary, a new thermal core. Apparently she got a new one. And she enters the reactor to start absorbing the energy from the new thermal core. And Snart goes on to rescue Mick and Ray, while Sarah is pretty much becoming a contingency plan. She's out there with a sniper rifle ready to get rid of Stein, because Stein has already been sent into the lab where Valentina is. And Valentina manages to merge with Stein to create their own Soviet version of Firestorm. And during that whole thing, you know, Sarah's hidden with a sniper. And Snart manages to find Ray and Mick. But like before all that, before the whole Valentina finding out about, before the whole thing happened, Valentina does find out, if I remember correctly, I'm sorry, I skipped that. Valentina does find out that Stein is the other half of Firestorm, therefore the reason why she merged with Stein. She's like, you're the other half of Firestorm, I'll merge with you, and all that stuff. So, and during the whole Valentina merging with Stein, Jefferson manages to go there with Hawk Girl to help out. And if I remember correctly, Jefferson manages to reach Stein's consciousness mainly through talking to him, talking about Ronnie and how he understands why Stein said what he said to him, you know, trying to protect him, just like because he couldn't save Ronnie. And that pretty much helps Stein gain control of Valentina's body, and also manages to force the two to separate. And because Valentina does not have Stein, you know, merge with her, and she doesn't have some sort of like quantum splicer, you know, that thing that both Ronnie and Jax have on their suit, the splicer. Because Valentina does not have the splicer or Stein, she cannot control the nuclear reaction inside her own body, and so because of that, she's ultimately destroyed. And luckily, you know, Mick, Ray are both rescued by Snart. Snart manages to convince Sarah to not kill Stein just in time for her to see Jax and Hawk Girl, you know, help out and stuff and, you know, rescue Stein. So it's a very nice thing to see, you know, Snart, who everyone knows as a villain, telling Sarah that she's not a monster, that she's not a killer. To see him bring out goodness out of somebody else is a really nice thing to see. It's a nice touch. You know, we all saw that Snart was starting to slightly change, and to see more of his good changes come out there, especially when he's helping Sarah out, you know, telling her that she's not a killer, she's not a bad person. It's a really good step up for Snart. And we even see another moment of goodness when it came to Mick Rory, because in order to get Stein to cooperate, they were torturing Ray and Mick. You know, they were hanging them and they're electrocuting them and all that stuff. And we see Ray actually take all the blows that was supposed to be meant for Mick, but Ray, you know, was antagonizing their attackers and all that stuff, making them attack Ray instead of Mick. And because of that, Mick decided, you know, when Snart came and rescued them, Snart, like, said, let's just leave him here and let's go, he'll be fine, Mick decided to help him out. And it's like pretty much showing Mick, you know, seeing a good side of Mick, just like we've been seeing a good side to Snart, which is a really good thing to see. So it's a possibility that these villains, despite the fact that, you know, they like to, I'm not surprised that they don't change their ways when it comes to stealing stuff and breaking into places to steal stuff. They do have a moral code to the point where they can be, you know, anti-heroes, you know what I mean? In my opinion, they could be anti-hero. But anyway, they're all rescued, they're all there, you know, Stein's there, Ray's there, Mick's there, Snart, Sarah, Kendra, and Jax, they're all safe and sound, and so is Rip. And, they're moving through the time stream, they're celebrating and all that stuff. They're unfortunately short-lived because they end up getting attacked by Kronos, who's following them in his own ship. And his little missile ends up forcing them to crash land in somewhere in the time stream. And they find out, well, Sarah finds out that they are actually in Star City, and she's all confused. She's like, Rip, I thought you said we fixed the timeline because, you know, all that happened. She's like, yeah, we did. And he's all checking where they are. They know they're in Star City. But they find out that they are in Star City 30 years after their time, which is Star City in 2046. And while they're there, they are confronted by a green hooded archer that both Sarah and Ray believe to be Oliver. But when we get a close-up, it is indeed a different guy. It is not Oliver Queen in that green hoodie in 2046. So, yeah, a lot of things happen. We saw more goodness moments out of Snart. We saw a good moment with Mick when it came to Ray. We saw Jax and Stein finally, like, understanding each other and being committed partners, which I love. And, there were some cute Easter eggs. Like, for instance, when they're about to break into this gulag, Captain Cold himself, who is played by Wentworth Miller, if you remember Wentworth Miller, there was a line that Snart says, which is pretty much, this isn't my first prison break. And if you remember, Snart is played by Wentworth Miller, and Wentworth Miller, everyone knows, was on prison break. So that was a pretty cute line that they added in there. And like I said, Bratva or something like that, Oliver Queen has been associated with it for a while. I don't think he is anymore. Again, with the shirtless hanging tortures, we've seen that many times with Arrow, and I guess they continue the tradition in Legends of Tomorrow, because, yeah, Ray and Mick were both shirtless and being tortured. And if you guys remember when Kendra, aka Hot Girl, and Jax arrive at the scene at the Gurog, there's a moment where Jax has to run toward a place to shut down all the power, and despite the fact that he has like a torn ligament or something like that, he manages to make it past all these bullets. Then again, Sarah does shoot the people who are shooting at Jax, but he makes it there in like a good record speed. He makes a cute little comment saying, Barry Allen who? And that's pretty much a shot to Barry Allen, aka The Flash, which I thought was pretty cool. And, I don't know any other, Easter eggs, but there is a good rumor that the guy in the green hoodie at the end in Star City 2046 is in fact Connor Hawke. If you guys don't remember, Connor Hawke in the comics was Oliver Queen's biological son. But I heard ahead of time that this Connor Hawke will not be related to Oliver Queen in any shape or form, from what I heard. So it'll be interesting what this Connor Hawke's backstory will be. I'm really hoping they don't stray too far anyway. But anyway, the next episode is called Star City 2046, and we'll get more in depth with Connor Hawke and what happened to Oliver Queen and what happened to Team Arrow. So, episode 6, guys, Star City 2046, and this is my reaction rant to episode 5, Failsafe. I'll see you guys in the next video.